Hi, we are back for a collective message. It is Monday the 10th. I had to look at the calendar. You guys know my weeks go from Monday to Sunday, so that is why we start our collective message for the week on Mondays. So we are going to get right into it. Also, I clearly could not be trusted with the back camera last week, so here we are. Hopefully the sound is okay and the picture is okay. I'm thinking about getting like a little mic for my collar, but hopefully it's okay. I cut my entire head off in that video, so you're like, Mariah, where did you go last week? Don't know. My head was off in the clouds, as it always is, because I'm an Aquarius. But anyway, let's see what we have for the collective this week. I'm using my OG deck, my first deck ever. She is coming out this week. I feel like she had a lot to say to me today, so I'm gonna see what she has for all of us. So what, I'm already like feeling some stuff, but what does, clearly that, what does the collective need to know this week? What does the collective need to know this week? Okay. Okay, that's it. Cool. So let's see what we have here. Wow, we have some very interesting energy. Okay, so we had two cards flip right out of the deck, right? And that is the Six of Wands. It's called the Staves in this deck, but we have the Six of Wands, the King of Swords, the Prince or the Page of Cups, and we have Contemplation, which is the Hermit in the traditional deck. But this is the Goddess deck, so it is Contemplation and the Goddess is Chang-O. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that okay. But what I was hearing when I was shuffling is healing. I'm honestly not surprised that the Hermit came out here, because it feels like we have some introspection to do. Maybe I keep hearing like we're winning, but we're not. And I think that's where the Six of Wands is coming in. So maybe we are outwardly winning, or it seems like to other people we're winning. Maybe we're being recognized for our accomplishments. Maybe we're being recognized for the things that we're doing. But for some reason, it feels hollow. That's what I'm hearing. It feels hollow. It feels empty. And I'm thinking that's why we then have the Prince or the Page of Cups and the King of Swords. So the Page of Cups, I actually love him when he comes up in a reading most of the time. I feel like whenever I do a caveat, it's because in love readings, some of the cards that I typically like to see, I don't like to see them in a love reading. Again, it always depends. It's always so personal, but the Page of Cups can go a couple ways for me in a love reading. But anyway, so I love his silliness. I love his playfulness. He is so unserious, but in a very like lovable way. He's just there to have a good time. And in this card, he's like dressed so lavishly. He's got his cutie little outfit on, right? Like he's jeweled up. He's just there for a good time, He brings that lightness to things, right? He brings that lightness to this reading, especially contrasting with the King of Swords. Now, the King of Swords he is judge, jury, executioner. He is a man of action, where sometimes when we see the queens, I love the queens in the tarot. I love them. But sometimes with the king, they do have that action piece to them. So this king, he is, I just spit on my card. He's still sitting in this card. He's still sitting, but he's got his sword out and he's looking off. It's telling me I'm almost laughing because this is just like a theme in tarot, and I feel like you could be the worst reader in the world, but if you say this, it's probably going to make sense. I was gonna say it's giving balance. Oh my gosh, how basic, but it really feels like it is giving balance. Like the King of Swords energy, he is about truth. He's about putting the truth out there. He's about speaking his mind and putting action behind it as well. So he's not talking the talk, he's also walking the walk. And the King and the Queen of Swords, I really do like them. The wands, for example, maybe get a little, the cups are, you know, but I love the King and the Queen of Swords because they really do embody that fairness, that sense of justice, which can take a right turn into self-righteousness, right? But they understand their responsibility and they enjoy their responsibility. So the swords, excuse me, the swords have a great potential for harm. That is what I talk about quite a bit when swords come up in a reading, because it is mental energy versus the wands, right? Or the staves in this deck, the wands. And a lot of the times the wands have quite a lot of conflict, but there's a lot of passion and energy in wands, right? And getting hit with a stick is always going to be less painful than getting hit with a sword, right? So there is a level of responsibility to the swords suit that, to me as a reader, cannot be and should not be ignored. And I think that is what is very cool about the King and the Queen, is that they very much understand the their potential for harm, and they don't take their responsibility lightly. So that is why I'm saying, again, as basic of a theme as it sounds, these two cards could not be in stronger contrast, right? You have somebody who has this incredible responsibility on them, and they generally thrive in that responsibility. And then you have someone who has no responsibilities, right? None, are just completely concerned with living life, having fun, exploring, finding joy, again, silliness, like playfulness. Like this is somebody who would like splash you in a puddle just like as a joke. Or you know what, there's somebody who like this is somebody who like you're playing in the ocean and they like splash you. You know what I mean? Like they are silly goose. So the two of these together is an incredible dichotomy. You also have the king, who's like an older figure, the prince or the page, who is supposed to be very young, very childlike. There is a very serious dichotomy going on here. And it seems like, at least outwardly, that is going well. That's being recognized, right? But with the Hermit here, and with this goddess in particular, it feels like we are not able to hold on to this balance for some reason, or it's very hollow. So I don't know if we're using this dichotomy in a way that doesn't ultimately align with us, but there is something that we need to discover here. Maybe we can amplify our gifts, right? Because this is an incredible gift to have this balance. Most people cannot achieve this, aka me. Me to me, right? Most people cannot achieve this balance and have it go well. So as we look inward, and again, at the beginning I heard like there's healing that needs to take place. This is hollow. What if we are supposed to take our gifts and use it for something even greater? But we need to really look inward to see what that is, right? So let me pull, what's at the bottom of the deck? 4 of Pentacles, 8 of Wands, 2 of Wands, the Lovers. Oh, look at the bottom of this deck. I love it. Okay, I was gonna pull more cards, but I love the bottom of the deck. The 8 of Wands is fast moving energy, always, right? Fast moving energy. We need to be careful of the 8 of Wands because it can sweep us up, right? But again, we have this very strong dichotomy going on. The Lovers, where we're talking about that balance. The Lovers, a lot of times, is not about 2 people being in love. It's about us joining the pieces of ourselves, being exposed and loving ourselves exactly who we are, loving all parts of ourselves. It can be loving all parts of other people, but really seeing people without that veil, seeing people just raw as they are and loving them anyway. That's really what the Lovers can be about. And the 2 of Wands. So it's so funny because I was saying maybe we need to use our gifts for bigger things, right? And we might need to look outwards. We could be receiving, again, praise for what we're doing, but maybe we need something bigger, even bigger than that. So let's look and see what that could be. I think contemplation, or the Hermit, goes so well with the 2 of Wands because it's really that reflecting time of where am I going next, right? Where is this going to take me? Where is this 8 energy going to take me? And the 4 of Pentacles, I like the 4 of Pentacles. I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion. I like the 4 of Pentacles. I generally have a positive understanding of the 4 of Pentacles. Rarely does she show up in a negative way, but with the 4 of Pentacles here, it's almost telling me like we have enough right now. With the 4 of Pentacles, it can be read in a couple different ways, and especially Pentacles, it has to do with, money, career, possibly. Sometimes it has to do with health. I think what the 4 of Pentacles is telling us is that we are in a really good landing space, a really good almost like a plateau. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that as like a leap pad, It almost feels like, this is going to be kind of funny, but just bear with me because it's going to make complete sense. But when you are in a video game, right, like Mario, and you need to jump from one platform to another, the 4 of Pentacles feels like that really strong foundation. Like none of this is cracking, none of this is falling down, right? You have this whole platform, none of these bricks are falling away, right? So it's that really solid place to jump up to the next landing. So it feels like things, and I mean, with the 6 of Wands coming out, things are probably going well for us, which is great. So we have the opportunity to calmly look outward, to calmly think about what our next move is before we harness that energy. And it feels like we are just in a moment of sincere stability, which is such a cool jumping off point. Sometimes that can feel stagnant. I understand that. But with the Eight of Wands coming in, we're not stagnant. We are maybe in a plateau, but that's because we are, my ears are ringing. That's because we are going to be able to push off of that really strong foundation that we're on once we figure out which direction we're going in. So what a cool week we're about to have. That's like a lot of energy for 1 week. I'm so interested to see where that takes us. And wait a minute. The eclipse is this week, isn't it? I think the eclipse is this week. Oh my gosh. That changes everything and nothing. Okay, so I stand on everything that I said. I stand on everything that I said. Wow. Okay. All right, so that makes sense. I'm like, that's a lot of energy for 1 week, but that makes complete sense if it's the lunar eclipse. So there we go. I hope you have an amazing week. I think you are in such a cool position. I really encourage you to take some time to yourself. I don't really care what it is. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can meditate, you can journal, you can go for a walk, you can sit in your car when you get home with the engine turned off, but don't take the key out yet if you still have a key, which I do, because that makes it real. I saw a TikTok about that the other day and I was just laughing. Sit in your car if that's your only moment of peace. Lay out in the sun for a minute if you have sun, and just really quiet your mind. Think about that stable platform that you're on, and how are you going to push off to that next level? Where are you going to go? Because you are just in such a cool position to move forward. So I am so excited for you. I would love if you left comments down below of what you have going on this week, or if you come back on Sunday and tell me what happened to you this week. I love updates, guys. I love updates. I'm trying to figure out a way to make like an update community because I love them so much. I think about you guys all the time. If you get readings from me, if you come to my lives, if you comment on the videos, I think about you all the time. So if you want to tell me how your week went, I think that would be so amazing. I would love that so much. But I will definitely see you next week, next Monday. And I'm really excited to see how that reading builds on this one. So I will see you guys then.